Hello folks, I'm Giuseppe Nava from Simulation Daily, and today we're going to take a look at how to use SimBrief to create and import realistic flight plans into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Specifically, we're going to focus on the PS5 version of the simulator. This is mostly because it's going to be the version with the most new folks that need this kind of help, but exactly the same concepts work for the Xbox version as well, and form a good base for the PC version, although the PC version has more options available. When we published the video of our airliner flight on the PS5 version of MSFS 2024, how to use SimBrief was by far the most asked question in the comments, so we thought we'd offer some help. Keep in mind that the PS5 version of the simulator is not officially released just yet, although there is an early access already ongoing for those who pre-order the special editions. Xbox provided the Simulation Daily with a pre-release copy for the purpose of our coverage. First of all, SimBrief is a flight planning platform owned by Navigraph that can be used for free. A Navigraph subscription is not required, although it offers more perks. I won't tell you here whether you should get one or not, as that depends on your usage of the simulator. So we're going to focus on the options you can enjoy without spending any money. You do need a Navigraph account, which can be created for free, and you can do so on the SimBrief website by clicking on Register and then create an account. All the URLs you'll need for this will be included in the description of the video and in the dedicated article on the Simulation Daily website, which will also be linked in the description. Once you're registered and verified with the code you'll receive via email, it'll immediately ask you if you want to subscribe. You can just use the option at the bottom to skip that, and you'll be brought back to SimBrief. Click on the second option to continue. In the next screen, you'll see a mention that the IRAC cycle is outdated. That's basically the core navigation data. Fully up-to-date IRAC is a perk for subscribers, but this shouldn't create major issues. It's worth mentioning that this is one of the disadvantages of using SimBrief over the built-in flight planner in MSFS 2024, which always has up-to-date IRAC for free, but it's a trade-off with SimBrief's options and flexibility. To create your first flight plan, click on New Flight. It'll try to sell you a subscription again, so just shut it up with Close Message. All you really need to include in this page is the ICAO codes of your departure and arrival airports. For instance, we'll use Kilo Mike Charlie Oscar for Orlando and Kilo Alpha Tango Lima for Atlanta. Then you'll need your aircraft type and the variant airframe. It's worth mentioning that not all the default aircraft included in the console version of MSFS 2024 support SimBrief integration. Those that do are the Airbus A320neo, the Airbus A321LR, the Airbus A330, the Beluga XL, the Airbus A310, and the Airbus A400M Atlas. Keep in mind that the Airbus A320neo is indicated with its ICAO code A20N, and the Airbus A321LR is A21N. We'll select the latter as an example. Some of the models supported have different variants, and you'll have to select the one you're using, but all of them are marked as Inibuilds MSFS. Some of the aircraft that support SimBrief aren't included in the drop-down menu by default. You need to download their SimBrief profile at the dedicated site linked in the description. Click on the aircraft you want, then on Save Airframe. After you've done that, the aircraft you downloaded will appear in the drop-down menu with the rest for any new flight plan you create. You need to do this only once per model. Back to our flight plan creation. You'll notice that SimBrief has already worked its magic. Keep in mind that it'll have selected the departure time 30 minutes ahead in real time. It's not in local time, but in Zulu time or UTC, however you want to call it. You can change that or all sorts of details. For instance, you can insert the ICAO code for your airline, like NKS for Spirit, and the flight number. You can change the alternate airport, the cruise altitude, the number of passengers and payload, or leave it to SimBrief to select realistic values. You can also change the route if you prefer something different. SimBrief will suggest a few. The cost index is usually pretty obscure for novices, as it indicates the balance between speed and economy. Low-cost airlines will use a higher cost index that leans on the side of saving fuel and money, for instance 30. Legacy airlines will go lower, opting to save less fuel to offer a better service, for instance 15. Often you'll be able to find the cost index an airline uses for a certain aircraft simply by Googling, but otherwise, value around those I mentioned or simply leaving it on auto works. A relevant detail is that things like the departure and arrival runways are selected according to the weather, but you can customize them as well if you want. Once you're satisfied, click on Generate Flight. Before we go back to the simulator, click on Account Settings and write down your numeric pilot ID. Make sure to get the right one, as it's not the username. And here we are on the flight deck of our Airbus A321 LR. I will go through the startup procedure real quickly so that you can see exactly what you need to do, not only to start the aircraft, but also to integrate that with your SimBrief flight plan. So, first of all, we go to the left, and here is the EFB, which means electronic flight bag, and it's your tablet. There is one bit of a problem. On the PS5, I have not managed at all to operate this EFB with the controller. If you have the same problem as I do, you may need to plug in a mouse to be able to operate the EFB. Any cabled mouse, almost any cabled mouse works with the PS5. Make sure you find one that works for you. In any case, having a mouse makes your life a lot easier overall in operating an airliner, especially in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So, pay attention now, because this is what most people get wrong when they try to connect with SimBrief. So you go into the options, you see that there is on-screen keyboard. You turn it into enabled. Some of the supported aircraft don't have this option. If you don't see it, don't worry, because that means that the on-screen keyboard is enabled by default. So you just don't need to do that for that aircraft. Then you click on SimBrief User ID. And now this is what most people do wrong, because there is a glitch. If you use this keyboard here, which is the default keyboard of the PS5, it will not work. So basically what you need to do is to go back with the circle or ask if you are using a keyboard, and this that just got uncovered is the actual keyboard that you need to use to type into the EFB. So you can type your numeric pilot ID here. Not the username. The numeric pilot ID. I'm just going to type the one I created for this tutorial, which is not the one I use normally, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 7189. 7189. Then you click on this arrow that drops the keyboard, and you are done with this insertion for this aircraft. It will save it, so you won't need to insert it anymore for this aircraft. You will need to do it for other aircraft. So click on dashboard. Now, if you see this icon, it means that you can import data from SimBrief. So let's click on this, and there you go. Here is your flight plan from Orlando to Atlanta, with your alternate, your flight number, and everything. This is the METR for Orlando, the METR for Atlanta. You have everything. You also have the operational flight plan here, with everything you need to know for your flight. It's very comprehensive. It may take some time to even learn to read these. SimBrief actually offers several formats for these, but you don't really need to learn to read everything. It's something interesting to learn, though, if you want, but the route is what really matters, because it will insert most of the rest on its own. Before we continue on the A321, I'll jump really quickly on the A310 to show you something. As you can see, the EFB is an older model, and it's different. If we go into the options, there is no field to insert our SimBrief ID. So this is the only one that's really different. All the other supported planes, they EFB may have a different shape or whatever, but it still has very similar menu, and it's very easy to insert the SimBrief ID the same way you do it to the A321. This you have to go a little bit different place. You have to go into the MCDU here, and you go into menu, A-cars, and you see that there is a username here. That's exactly where you insert your SimBrief ID. You clear the any warning or advisory that may be down here, and then you can type it. 1 2 3 7 1 1 8 9. Insert into the username here, and then you go request SimBrief. Company route uplink done. If you look at the flight plan, it's gonna be here exactly like it is in the other aircraft. And now let's go back to the A321. Now we can get our aircraft started up. So battery 1 and 2. Let's connect with the external power. And wait for our screens to self-test. While it does that, we can already go in the ground and toggle our jetway so that our passengers can start to come in. And we can go in the payload. And in the payload, you'll see there is another little icon with SimBrief, which means that you can load data from here as well. So you can load your passenger, cargo, and fuel. We'll come back here in a moment. Now that our screens are initialized, we can start the APU. We can initialize our aiders. Now we go into the MCDU, which is our main flight computer here. Go to the init page, and you can do init request, which will request the flight plan from SimBrief. See? It populated everything here that we inserted before in the flight plan. The arrival, the departure, the flight number, the cost index, and everything that it's calculated, like the cruise altitude, the temperature, the cruise temperature, and everything else. It also inserted the correct winds for the flight, and we can request them again at any time on the flight, and it will update them. The SimBrief saves you a ton of time inserting all this stuff into the flight computer. Now we can go back to the EFB, and we select apply load. You can do it instantly, you can do it in 5 minutes, or you can do it realistically, which could take up to 40 minutes depending on how many passengers you have, because everyone will walk in slowly like they do in real life. So let's just do it instantly. And it loaded our all aircraft, and it's giving us all the data we need for our flight here. Then, now that the APU is available, we can disconnect the external power. Oh, connect the bleed first. Okay, bleed is connected. You should do it first. First, you connect the bleed, then you disconnect the external power. Then we can disconnect the GPU, sorry. Since I forgot to do it before, I'm just going to go outside really quickly and remove the covers, the engine covers and the chocks, because the aircraft is not going to do anything with them on. Then let's go back into the flight deck. Okay. Now we go back up to our overhead. Nav logo and lights go in position 1. All the fuel pumps go on. Oxygen fuel supply goes on. There are no more white lights on the overhead, which is good. It means that everything is initialized correctly. Then you put the seatbelts on, because all your passengers are already seated, and we are already fueled. The no smoking signal goes in auto, and the emergency exit lights go in ARM. Then you go to your flight plan in the MCU, and you see that it has already inserted all of our waypoints and route waypoints. The one thing that we'll need to do is inserting the departures and the departure runways and the arrival. So you see that you have 16R as the departure runway and Jimmy 3 via Payne as the SID, which is the departure routing. So you click on this that is close to KMCO to select your departure, because you select in there. So it's again 17R. And if you don't see your SID here, your departure routing, you click on this and you see that it appeared on the arrows, and Jimmy 3 it's actually Jimmy 4. Where is Jimmy 3? Oh, see, there is a little bit of a problem here, which is derived likely from the fact that our ARAC cycle is older. So just use Jimmy 4. It will probably work. Via Payne. See, they just changed the number, really. Again, this is a small trade-off that you have to go if you have a free Navigraph account. Otherwise, you can just decide to subscribe. So go, now that I selected everything, go into Insert. And then select Kilo Alpha Tango Lima to select the arrival. And we want 27L via the JJD3 transition. Finally, this is something interesting about Atlanta. It has all Star Wars inspired waypoints around it, which is funny. So select ILS 27L and find the JJD transition again. Here it was JJD 4. They just changed the number. JJ sorry. And it's via, as you can see, LARDS. Select this and insert it, and you have this. Sometimes you can have some flight plan discontinuity, as you can see there. Let me show you on the plan. You won't have them all the time. It's something that happens at times, and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on how the. This is not depending on the air rack, but it's depending on the airport, on the routing. Those are things that are you're just supposed to be routed by ATC when that happens. But if you want your aircraft to just follow the flight plan, you can do this. In the meanwhile, let me show you the route. You can see it up there. It has inserted it. Without problems. See? It's going down all the way to Atlanta, and you see that this is the discontinuity. Basically, you would be arrive here and continue, and ATC will tell you just go into this vector and arrive at your arrive at the entrance of the ILS. But you could do this. First of all, you see that there is a manual waypoint. You go CLR. First of all, cancel all these warnings there, which is not, and advisories, and then you click CLR another time so that it appears here, and then you select the manual and cancel the manual point, then do CLR again and delete discontinuity. And now you see that your route has gone directly from one waypoint to the other. There was another one, I believe. Yeah, here. And here is a different kind of discontinuity. As you see that there is a pane and pane. Here there is no manual waypoint, so you just delete the discontinuity with CLR. Interestingly, there is another discontinuity with a manual waypoint here, so you can do what you did before. You do clear the manual, and then clear again, and clear discontinuity. Again, this is actually a very rare case that it will have all the discontinuities. Normally, you will not have none or one, sometimes two, but this is basically just showing you how to troubleshoot the flight plan, that you really don't need to worry about it. So now that we are back, that we have our whole flight plan cleared from discontinuity, we can see up there that it goes nicely from one airport to the other without any interaction. So you go back to ARC. Bring this back to 10 miles. Now that we've done this, you put the constraints on here and here, both sides. As usual, piloting an airliner would be a two-people job, but we have to do it on our own until they implement shared cockpit at some point in the future. We would receive this quote from ATC, but we're not using ATC right now. But just when you use it, just know that it will set it automatically if you're using the in-sim ATC, or you will need to insert it if you're on an online network like VATSIM or something. Now we go to init. Next page. To go to the next page, you click on right here. and you need 0 fuel weight and 0 fuel center of gravity, which are into the payload, and you see 0 fuel center of gravity is 30.1 and 0 fuel weight is 70. You need to approximate it, so 70.8 tons. So here you insert 70.8 slash 30.1. And you click on this to insert it on this line. Now we need the block fuel. The block fuel is 6 tons. If you approximate, it's 6 tons basically. So 6.0. Because it doesn't accept more than 1 decimal. And now it will populate all your fuel prediction. If you type it wrong, it will tell you that the two values it does disagree will get an amber warning here, but they don't. So we did everything right. Now we need to do our performance. So you click on takeoff, and you sync it with your. You click on sync, and it syncs with your flight plan. You see it populated the right runway, the length of the runway, the heading, the surface. The surface is dry or wet. You need to change it on your own. The wind, the temperature, and everything else have been inserted directly by the flight plan and the matter. And this has also been inserted for you. So you click on calculate, and it will calculate everything that you need for your takeoff performance. So first of all, you set your altimeter as it is here, which is 1016, and it's here. You select 1016. By the way, in the options, you can set it so that link instruments, it will link captain, flight officer, and the standby instrument, which is the most convenient. So it will change it here. It will change you for your flight officer, and it will also change it for the standby instrument, so you don't need to do everything 1, 2, and 3 all of the time, which is super annoying. Then you turn the flight director on. This you need to do it on both sides. And then it's time to go into our performance calculation, and we need to copy these values, which is flex 48. It goes into the flex to temp value here. Then V1, VR, and V2 are 156, 160, 162. $160, 162. Then another value that you need is the THS, which is your trim, your takeoff trim, which is 03 up. And you need to insert it together with the flap value. Flap value is 1. So 1 slash 0.3 up. And you put it into the flaps THS value there. And now all of our values for the takeoff performance are inserted and ready. And to see that everything is fine, You need to look here. If you've done everything correctly, the speed and the heading, they will be dotted. They will have no numbers in here. Then you can select your initial cleared altitude. We're just gonna say 10,000 for now. Then we put our transponder to auto. To do that, this is the new radio. We go to ATC mode and put it on auto. Then we switch the beacon light on to signal to the ground crew that they need to clear because we are ready to start the engine. We disconnect the parking brake. We ask for pushback. We switch the engine mode node to start. We pull the engine 1 lever to on and monitor the engine until it's fully started. Once engine 1 has started, we repeat the procedure with engine 2. Once engine 1 has started, we repeat the procedure with engine 2. At this point, we are ready to taxi out, and this concludes our little video guide on how to use SimBrief. Keep in mind that if you are on PC, you have more options. You are not limited to the aircraft that support SimBrief directly and can use the add-on called SimBrief Dispatch for MSFS 2024 to upload your flight plan directly into the simulator's native AFB, which works with pretty much every aircraft. Unfortunately, this is not available for PS5 or Xbox. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, because we have plenty more coming. If you still have doubts or questions, feel free to ask in the comments and we'll respond as soon as we can. As usual, thank you very much for your time and attention. Keep an eye on our channel and on the Simulation Daily website for more content and flight simulation news. If you're new to this hobby, we believe they are great places to start and to get more information. We'll see you in the next video, and remember, Simulation Daily's flight simulation coverage never stops.